long out in this tour now?
Not long. We started like Halloween, you know, but we went to South America, did Rock in Rio before this, you know, all that stuff. So we've been going. It seems like we never stop, really, you know, so.
Is that part of your solo?
No.
Zombie fans don't want to hear that?
No.
Tell us about that guitar. What's its story?
This guitar, it was, I had the prototype was black, just like this, but black, and silver hardware, chrome hardware, and it got so beat up because I just play all the time. I just never stopped playing. And I had to retire it, and I told Alex at Fender, Alex Perez, I said, man, you got to make me another guitar just so I can, you know, just play all the time. And so I said, I love Shoreline Gold, you know, I love like those colors from the mid-60s and things like that. So he made me this guitar, and it was a little bit more, it was, had a lot more gold to it, but it's just, you know, I've been playing it for a long time, and you can tell by the pick wear here.
That's all real?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. It was beautiful when I got it. Yeah, it's actually starting to indent, actually. Wow. It's funny, but I just play it all the time. I travel with, I actually buy a airline seat for it when, you know, because nowadays at some airlines they're like, oh, sorry, you can't bring, you have to check your guitar. And so I'll just have to buy it, you know, a seat. So, but it's worth it, you know, it's like, I wouldn't want anything to happen to it. So.
How long have you had it?
I don't know. I'm really bad with years. Probably like 4 years.
Is that your main stage guitar now?
No, it's my guitar I use for my solo and things like that. But I use a different guitar for like every song pretty much, just so the other ones don't get jealous.
Got to maintain healthy relationships.
Yes,
in the rack.
It's true. It is true. And it's for myself as well. And you know, the audience likes to, you know, see different guitars. Oh, okay. So for Christmas, I mean, I loved guitar. I was so into guitar, and I would start taking lessons, and I just used the store guitar, and I was so into it, man. I just loved it, and I played so much when I was a kid. So my first guitar was a 1976 Fender Stratocaster, and you know, it was a guitar back then, and I loved it. It was the greatest, and I played it forever. But I always wanted a Telecaster, and I asked my mom, you know, for a Telecaster, but she didn't know. She just knew Fender, you know. So, but I wanted one because, you know, I loved hee-haw, and I was a hee-haw nut. I just loved it. And I thought the Telecaster was the only shape they made. I didn't even know they made different shapes of different guitars. And when I got it, I was like, what is this shape? It's really weird. And it was the Stratocaster, obviously. But in my head, I just wanted, it was Blackguard I wanted, you know, so bad. But on hee-haw, they used all the, you know, the Buck Owens and, you know, Don Rich, and they had all those sparkly Telecasters, and I loved them so much. But I got my Strat, and I played it forever and ever and ever, and I met Stevie Ray Vaughan when I was, you know, a little kid. You know, I had to be 11 or 12 or something, and he wrote, "To John, Stevie Ray Vaughan, play with feeling." And so I just loved it, and I glossed it over, and Van Halen came along. And I really got into Van Halen, and I wanted a Kramer, and I sold my Stratocaster signed by Stevie Ray Vaughan. I traded it actually for a Focus Kramer. This is the part where I start to cry.
You should.
And it was one of the worst days of my life, you know. So, but anyways, eventually I got my Telecaster. It was a Blackguard. It was like a 82 or something like that, and I loved it, and I played all the time, and it was just, you know, one of the greatest things ever, and it's really cool. And you know, whenever people see tellies, they always are like, oh, you know, let's call John for this, because, you know, maybe he has it, maybe he doesn't, so it's really neat.
Do you have all your connections established with the vintage shops around
Yeah, I'm like
LA for sure? I mean, but do you extend it out beyond?
Yeah, I'm like a guitar junkie, you know. People be like, oh, we got this telly, let's call John, you know, and I'll get calls, you know, from artists and, you know, stores from all over. But so, yeah, then I signed with Fender, and I was, you know, then I got a signature series, and it's great to be a part of that family because, you know, it's what ever since I can remember, it's what I've had in my hands is a Fender. So it's great.
No chance the old Stevie Ray signed guitar is going to show up, or?
I'm so happy you asked that question. So, my wife, who's so rad, I mean, my wife is so cool because all I do is sit around and play guitar anyways, and whoever can put up with that is awesome. But I always talked about this guitar when I grew up. And, you know, I told her what it looks like and all that stuff and what year it is. And she's, you know, she's pretty smart with the guitars and things like that. But I have a dealer, it sounds like a drug dealer, but I have a dealer that will find me things that I'm looking for. And she called him and said, oh, if you can find, you know, a guitar like this, you won't find the guitar. And it's a cream Stratocaster, black pickguard, white knobs. So that was around, you know, 76, 77. They made that kind of look, you know, and she found one completely original, because I have all my guitars are original, and bought it for me for Christmas. And it was so shocking to see it, you know, because I loved it, you know, so much. It's not the one, but it's the exact same year and everything like that. So it's hanging in my house, and I play it all the time, actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Switch. So what are the knobs doing?
Well, I have this,
Oh, it's up there, yeah. Okay,
this guy
my
up
bad.
here,
Yep.
and then you know, rhythm and bridge pickup, volumes, and then I have a little kill switch that I play with every little once in a while. I don't use it that much though, because it's kind of, you know, I don't know. I like to do everything with my hands, so if there's a kill switch thing, I'll just, you know, I'll just do it like, you know. So I'll do it like that, you know. And it's cool, the kids like it, you know. It looks cool. It looks a lot better than going like this, you know. So
What's the story with the bowling ball?
the bowling ball telly, now, I can find pretty much any kind of telly there is. Now, Fender put out these bowling ball tellies and Stratocasters, I think, let's see if my history is correct, around 1983. And I can't find one. I cannot find one. I've seen Strats, but I have not seen tellies. And just impossible to find. And then, you know, I'm always at Fender talking to the guys, and they're doing stuff for me, and I see they're doing these tellies, these bowling ball tellies. And I was like, oh my God, stop the press, I have to get one. You know, here is a blank check, just fill it out. Just give me that guitar. And we were playing the Jimmy Kimmel show on Halloween night, and this guitar showed up. You know, and any normal person would wait, you know, a few days to make sure there's no buzzes or it's not noisy or anything. I just put it on and played, you know, and you could see that on YouTube, and we're all dressed up like it's clowns and stuff because it's Halloween night. And I'm using this guitar, you know, I just put it on and had them tune it up. I don't even think they changed the strings on it. They just put it on, and it was incredible. I love it. So if anybody finds an 83 bowling ball Telecaster, let me know. I should explain myself. We are in North Dakota, and that's why my attire freezing. I've been to Russia in January. I've been everywhere, everywhere. And I'm gonna have to say Minneapolis is the coldest place I've ever been in my life. It is. It's like crazy, weird cold. And I was like, man, I think I'm getting a cold or something because my nose is like rock hard. And it was just my nose freezing within seconds. So it's shockingly cold there.
Just my nose freezing.
You know, it was like the inside of my nose would freeze within 3 seconds.
Like that all moisture.
We call that going outdoors.
Oh, it's terrible.
We call that walking to the car to go to work. Yeah.
And that's why I am dressed like I'm dressed, because I was said, just find me the warmest coat. So.
A nice wool trench coat.
Yeah.
Anyway. Roy.
Buck Owens,
Buck Owens, yes.
I love Hee Haw, and it's kind of my tribute, it was just like what he was playing, except for he didn't have a chrome pickguard. And then I have my headstock, that from my signature model, which is actually from the 12 string, when they were doing the 12 strings, or the Mavericks, if you will, back in the 60s. And, people said, oh, it's like a paddle or something like that, But I dig it, I think it's cool and it looks different. It gets a lot of attention, It's cool, and you can play behind the nut really well and easy with it, things like that.
Space, the tuner's kind of funky on it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. It's so cool. I've used it every show. And, it's just a wonderful guitar. It's just like, Buck's, and except for the headstock and the chrome.
Standard Tele pickups on it?
I have yes. And, God, they made this for me a long time ago, actually. I think it's, it's pretty old now. But I have a Telecaster from Don Rich, and it's exactly the same guitar. And that's actually one of the ones that got stolen, and it came back to me. So it's very special to me, and I love that guitar. I was so crushed when that got stolen, but that was one of the ones that got discovered in the theft. So I was very happy and very fortunate to get that one back.
I'll talk about your amp rig.
Yeah, amps are pretty simple. I try to keep all my gear really simple, I just use Marshall 900s, and I have a JVM in there. Vintage cabs, nothing special to it. I use 4 cabs on stage, 2 on each side, and like you saw in the pictures, I like the different colored heads, and every time I go to England, I'll order a different color, and it's kind of cool to see people like the colors, but some people think they're so ugly and stuff, but I love those different colors, and so I'm going again soon, and I'm just gonna I love how they all look, so I'm just gonna keep on having heads and heads on tour with me, So I have a red, a white, a blue, a really cool blue, and a yellow one.
Circuits modified at all, or are they all?
No, everything's just straight. You could just like you pull it out of the store and I plug it in. I don't like to modify anything, just because they're great how they're made. Same thing with the guitars, Effects wise, it's almost a joke, I use only Boss effects, of which I have my whole life, but I use a noise suppressor, which doesn't really do anything, just cuts out the noise. Then I use a super overdrive for solos, and a chorus pedal for some warbly chorus stuff, and a wah that I use on one song, Thunder Kiss 65. And that's it. So really the only true effects is the chorus and the super overdrive. But I just like to keep it as minimal as possible, because I like to try to do everything with my hands, No whammy bar or anything like that. I have a couple tellies with whammy bars on them, Floyd Rose's, because the White Zombie stuff, they use a lot of Floyd Rose stuff. And but yeah, that's about it. And then I use Audio-Technica, wireless and things like that. But it's a really simple rig. But I just like bringing a lot of guitars and a lot of amps out, just because, in case one breaks down. But I always liked, when I would go to concerts and I would look and try to see those rigs, and just see all those guitars, man. It was just so great. And I thought to myself, one day I'll have that.
You remember any particular players whose rigs you
oh yeah, absolutely.
ingrained with?
Eddie Van Halen. Now, I don't remember the guitars, but I remember the amps. He had all these heads. And I was like, oh my God, look at all those heads. That's incredible. And I remember that was really incredible to see that. And then, who's got a crazy, takes a bunch of guitars out with him is John Mayer. And he's, I have like 2 of those big vaults. I think he takes like 4.
Wow.
I know. I mean, they don't even play that many songs. It's incredible, so, but maybe,
More guitars than there are songs in the set.
Yeah, I know. They'll play 2 at a time, like Michelangelo or something. So, man, but that John Mayer rig is ridiculous. He takes a lot of guitars out. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of that John Mayer.
Talk about the electronics and the, what do you call it? The green Christmas.
Oh yeah, the lava guitar.
The lava guitar.
The lava guitar, it's got it's plexi, and it weighs a ton. I think it weighs as much as I do, and it has antifreeze in it. So when it travels overseas, it doesn't freeze because it would freeze and crack. So it's just really smart, on that sense. And then I have a push-pull that it lights the whole guitar, illuminates the whole guitar. And when those lights are out in the arena, it just glows like crazy. So it really looks cool. And but I can only play for one song because it weighs so much. I mean, I'm gonna, look like, Fritz from, Frankenstein movie, playing that thing. And then I have a LED guitar, and it's got a ton of little LED lights on it. And I'll tell you, I turn it on when the lights go down in a certain song I play it on, and it pretty much is like a massive, massive fog light. It's so bright, it lights up this whole arena. So it's really cool, It's funny because a lot of people talk to me with the music I'm playing, this heavy, crazy music you'll see tonight. It's, I'm playing Telecasters, which is really kind of odd, It's like playing it's kind of like a country guitar, but I just always like to do things a little different. And when I was a little kid, I thought that was the only guitar there was, and to me it still is. I think it's like something from your childhood. You just really, you guys all are, past the age of 21, and you'll know, like, you still love things as, when you were a little kid, and that's how it was with me with Telecasters.
Complete nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
Anything you got your eye on? Like, I'm sure you have your eye on several teles, but
Yeah,
sounds like he hasn't.
I am still looking, a lot of, it's funny, I've been looking for a really good broadcast, not a broadcaster, I have great broadcaster, a no-caster. I've been looking for a really good no-caster for so long, but sometimes, it won't be correct, it'll be, new frets, or it'll be different pots, or, whatever, it will refinish or something like that. So I'm still looking for that great no-caster,
So you've seen some, but none that were all original?
Right, I have these experts, these guitar, aficionados that will check, the lacquer, and will check the frets and check the everything, and they'll say, no, this isn't right, the nut's not right on this, so, I won't get it. So all of my teles are, completely original, and I'm really proud of that. And it's the thrill of the hunt, if you got right away, you know, then you're like, oh, now what do I do, you know? But it is a thrill to hunt to get them as perfect as possible.
Right. Cool.
Got it all.
You good?
Great.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, John.
Of course.